before I go.
That's a foul thing, so that's so foul. I was on the end. I was in line for LRT still. And I remember I couldn't even enjoy the house because I had to get out of there.
He was in the ride and stuff.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're here live at the Magic Kingdom here on a overcast but nice Tuesday morning. It's supposed to be about 85 degrees today from what somebody said on the radio. Small chance of some precipitation, which in some cases means no rain at all, hopefully.
You see Ashley, she's got a recession blonde on.
A little bit of a visitation right before streaming from a old friend that we worked with here at Disney. He's currently here at the Haunted Mansion. I'm just going to be sitting here for a little bit while the missus is pin trading around the Magic Kingdom. This probably won't be too long of a stream. Might be coming a little later. Maybe when we go to our second part of Hollywood Studios, so there might be a break in between. Up in the air on that. Still working on some things that I want to do for the channel that won't involve too much of the park, but maybe just in-house chat. So stay tuned for that, as that is still a working development. Come out here and just talk about some of the big changes happening to the Magic Kingdom, obviously. took a while for this to hit, but it's kind of interesting, all these changes that are happening, because it's definitely not going to be the same park that I remember growing up to. It's kind of weird now. I can only imagine what the park looks like right now from this viewpoint, considering that there are just nothing but walls around Tom Sawyer's Island and all the walls that are around Big Thunder Mountain. I've heard some things about the expansion that are good. I've heard some things about the expansion that are questionable. I hope that Villains Land will be very much the most anticipated expansion here at the Magic Kingdom. I'm hoping that they don't disappoint for the most part. I think that's what worries me, is that there's going to be so much hype and so much anticipation, and people are going to be kind of underwhelmed at what happens.
Let me tell you, going to Halloween Horror with really dark, almost black hair, really.
But I do think that one of the rumors that I did hear that I actually would look forward to this is the queue for the Haunted Mansion might be getting a nice upgrade, because apparently Villains Land's going to be kind of going behind the Haunted Mansion. But the updates to the queue, the extended queue, is going to be like a more detailed type of graveyard. More of an interactive graveyard that we already have right now. They're probably just going to elaborate on it, expand a little bit more. That would be exciting, because the Haunted Mansion, even with the new interactive queue they put in about 10 or 12 years ago, that they added this interactive queue. But the crowds still, sometimes these particular crowds get so backed up with the Haunted Mansion, and the line will be backed up to where the Liberty Bell entrance used to be. So I can see them utilizing some of the old space where the riverboat went, pushing the extended queue out that way.
I was trying to get over and open.
I will say I probably will not be bringing the iPad with me to Hollywood Studios. If we do stream at Studios later today, it'll probably only be like an hour or two that will be at Studios anyway. So I will probably just be having the camera posted up somewhere while she goes pin trading around there. Pin trading has been really good for anybody that has been following us on that. We've gotten lucky with a couple of surprise, what they call pinpaloozas. Generally, there's a handful of cast members that will come out with some really good assortment of pins. But we did hear of a big one that happened. I believe she said it was at the Magic Kingdom. There were 30 cast members with pin boards all along Main Street. We obviously weren't here for that one, but I could only imagine the groveling that people were doing for those pins. Because apparently it's been a good assortment of pins from the pin community that we've seen. Now, I will start off by saying this, for one thing. everyone's kind of raving about the Beacon Barrel. I don't mind it. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm not really accepting of the lounge or the bar scene being inside the Magic Kingdom. I was kind of okay with it when they were allowing for some beverages to be purchased inside of restaurants with dining reservations. So I can get behind the Beacon Barrel on that part. I just don't want people looking, like, I don't want it to be a point where people are looking forward to just getting drunk at the Magic Kingdom. We have not been to Beacon Barrel. We walked past it. I kind of know the general area in which it sits. I'm not in a rush for Beacon Barrel. From what I've heard from other videos, the food options aren't something I particularly want to go for in a sense. And then the drinks, I'm very particular on my adult drinks because a lot of times they're more juice or other beverages than alcohol. And I feel as if I'm paying $15, I might as well get my fill. Now, I will probably entertain the Beacon Barrel if we were actually with other people that wanted to try it out themselves, yes, but it's probably not something I'm not going to look forward to going to right off the bat. So. And as far as an update on the channel, possibly in the future, I'm still trying to learn some things. I did some experimental live streams I think it was about a week and a half ago. I was trying to do some experimental live streams on my own, basically turning the camera off and just doing kind of like a live podcast, so to speak, where it's just basically like we're doing now, but without the visual of a Disney park in the background. But it was an epic failure because the headphones that I have basically was turning off the microphone on the camera. So in order for me to do a successful type of stream on my own, you guys are going to have to hear the voiceover, which will probably overtake the audio of the video as I navigate through which buttons are which. Because another big thing that I want to do, I do enjoy the Disney conversation, but then I don't want to have outside conversations on Disney property. There's some Universal Studios stuff that I like to talk about, some SeaWorld stuff that everyone's kind of coming over, but because SeaWorld isn't a number one go-to place for a lot of vloggers and streamers and whatnot like that. So there's a lot of things that people just don't know about SeaWorld, and then there's a lot of news that kind of gives SeaWorld a bad reputation now more than ever.
What's up, baby?
Yeah, I want to die here.
Trying to think of, other than the big news that happened with Disney over this past week, if anything else has been kind of jumping in my attention in my news feed when I'm on Facebook and whatnot like that. if anybody has any thoughts and opinions over any big transformations. I keep hearing all the people that are just, kind of like me now. It's like I'm kind of nervous about what Magic Kingdom is going to be now with this Cars expansion, the Villains area. Then there's a possibility of what they could do on the other side of the train tracks by Circus and expanding Tomorrowland and Circus out that way. I can only imagine. I used to have a guy that I worked with years ago. He did an internship, and he's the one that she told me about the possibility of building on the other side of the train tracks. That was probably about 10 years ago he told me that. And because I was doing a lot of backstage stuff at one point in time, I would take the time just to walk around in backstage areas just to get a feel for what the park is like. And there's a lot of room, but there's also a lot of, there'll be a lot of redirecting for backstage areas.
I'm sorry.
So the one thing that obviously people were talking about after a little bit of a debacle with the Jimmy Kimmel situation is the increase on Disney Plus, which I haven't heard an official number on that. I haven't even heard when that actually starts. Obviously, a lot of people are very upset with that because that price has drastically gone up over the past 2 years. I believe this is the third increase since 2021. I actually don't even remember what the price has been because as a cast member, we do get the benefits of having Disney Plus kind of, I guess you could say, free as cast members. The last time I remember the price, it was, I believe it was $6 or $7.99 without the ads. I'm sorry, with ads. But then, of course, we've also had the, I don't know what it's going for with the Hulu bundle and ESPN, and now apparently HBO Max is part of that bundle as well. I would imagine for all of that, maybe $15, $16.99. That's with the ads, which, again, I feel is kind of like pointless to have ads on a streaming service, especially if you have to pay more to omit the ads. At this point, you might as well just go back to getting cable. It's going to take a while for us to get back to the groove of things, trying to get back to a rhythm. But between the pin trading and then, of course, it's a little bit, it's not a hectic schedule, but it's just trying to balance the pin trading and then the kids' school schedule. I haven't actually been going to the parks as often over the last couple of weeks. I think that I've only been to the Magic Kingdom, ironically enough, probably like 4 or 5 times in the last several months, which is kind of unheard of. I'm usually at the Magic Kingdom as often as I can, or at some form of a Disney park. We also have not been to the Food and Wine Festival yet. It's like one of those things where it's like we're taking it for granted because of the fact that it's always here. We are going to be here more than likely for the Boys and Men concert, which I believe is towards the end of November now. That will probably just be like our moment with the kids. That's like a tradition now. We just go to the Boys and Men concert at Epcot. We did attempt to do the dining package one year, but that was an epic fail. We do have some upcoming, we have some family members coming in next month for a nice little stay. So we'll be entertaining some family members for that. After that, my position at Disney is up in the air. They're still trying to figure out where they can put me. I mean, I could think of a few spots that I could be, but it's too many moving pieces. Hopefully they'll be able to find some place just to put me for the time being, until they can find like a permanent place. But that's kind of like where I am now with this. They have me basically technically on a medical leave. I am clear to come back to work. They just don't know where to put me. So, but because of their technical legal matters, I'm kind of at a stall point. And there's a couple things that obviously there's a lot of things that I could do, and there's a lot of let's say positions that are never used that they could put me in, but then there's like union conversations that has to be made because that wouldn't be fair. And it's not favoritism, it's more of an accommodation, but that's what they're supposed to do. And it is a party night, I believe. The park will be closed at 6 o'clock. You can kind of tell because the crowds are very low. Does not seem to be very busy whatsoever. We walked in and standing on Main Street, and it was very quiet. I can somewhat hear the audio, all the video, so hopefully it's coming in. It's coming in pretty good. Hopefully for you guys at least. I usually do like to just come out here for the ambiance now more than ever. I do enjoy the rides every once in a while, but it's like everybody's on the rides, and with us carrying all this equipment, I just feel as if it's kind of like it's overdone. If like we have some POVs, and we'll probably do some more POVs. That's probably like the most that we'll do as far as getting on rides during a live stream. Because every time we look up, there's someone who's streaming on a ride, and a lot of times they are not very considerate. Like for instance, I would rather not sit in the first row if I'm holding like a gimbal and a camera and everything like that, because then there's the backlight that kind of gets in the way. And that's on particular rides, like for instance, Pirates of the Caribbean, rides where you're sitting with a number of people. I've heard a lot of rumblings about some of the live streaming is just getting kind of out of control. So another reason why, like a lot of times our live stream, I will not be walking with my wife around the park, because I mean it's already pretty chaotic trying to navigate a blind man through a park that's holding a camera, probably right in someone's face. But it's more just it's more of an annoyance, it seems, from what I've heard and from what I'm understanding. People who, like I've been on a couple Facebook, seen a couple Facebook posts of people who are just over everybody who's streaming. I think it's just because of how obnoxious some people are. And I think it's just mainly because it's the amount of people that are doing it, especially because of the elaborate, I guess, I mean, I don't want to say like, you know, because like for instance, I know there's a couple of live streamers, they have a nice little contraption that holds pretty much all their stuff, and that's fine because it's only like maybe 1, 2 of them at a time. But then there's some of them like I noticed that people are talking about like the TikTokers, man. They're very loud. They're over the top. They have these long. They have these. It's like it's not a selfie stick because selfie sticks aren't allowed in the park. But it's like they're holding something that is kind of like an extension, but not too far of an extension. But they're not conscious of who's around them. Like the last time, most times that we get on the rides, we're not even particular on where we sit. Obviously, we didn't want to film this back of someone's head, but for the most part, it's like, okay, if I could sit in the back row of Pirates of the Caribbean, I'd much rather do that. And obviously, if I could navigate the camera a little bit better, I'd probably be able to, because I'm taller, I'd probably be able to, put the camera up at a certain amount, a certain level, so it's not in someone's face all the time. And then there's also a lot of attractions that are so, the building is so thick that you lose a lot of that connectivity. And like, for instance, I know Pirates of the Caribbean, once you go into the lower building after the drop, there's a lot of interruptions when you get in the queue of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. There was one time we did a stream, and I would say we went inside the building, the stream cut off, and then it picked back up when we were at the pirate ship scene. And then it cut off again until almost the end of the ride. So I was like, okay, it's not really good to stream on that ride. We've since updated the equipment, so I know the streams have been better since that one live stream, but it's still very iffy, especially like the Haunted Mansion. There's a lot of portions of the Haunted Mansion that skips around a lot. We've even had a hotspot on a couple times. Small World, that's another attraction that's kind of difficult to stream on. And a lot of the other ones is because of copyrights. Or else I would love to stream more on the rides more often. Copyrights, streaming interruptions, just makes it difficult. And the fact that, it's like everybody's doing the same thing, and I get it. It's like that's what everyone's doing, and everyone's still doing good at it, but I kind of now don't watch a lot of people's live streams because I feel as if I know their schedule. It's not random. It's not even like a conversation for the most part. It's not even like I like the spontaneity, which is basically our life story. I like the spontaneity of someone who's just going to be live streaming, no real plans, no real guidelines, just walking around the park, enjoying it for what it is.
No, Pirates of the Caribbean, right? Pirate Bars at 5 o'clock. Why? It's so hard. No, I haven't. Okay. Your name is Mark?
But yeah, like I was saying, so what I plan on doing, and probably bear with me as I navigate this, because there's a few things I'm trying to learn on my own. I actually have a couple of videos I'm pretty sure set to private. As I was experimenting, trying to do the streams from the house. Like I said, I have a voiceover on my phone so that I can navigate through it. That does come in very prominently through the phone. I tried to hook up some headphones, but the headphones disconnects the microphone. So until I get like a decent microphone headset combo, they'll just be trial and error. But what I'll probably be trying to do is I'll probably just try to have some basic conversation about Disney news, Universal news, SeaWorld news, tourism. There's just a lot of things I keep hearing, and it's kind of like, it's weird because people who aren't from here are commenting about things that are true, but when you look at it at a face value, there's more of a story behind everything that's being said out there. And like I'm gonna say first, like the big thing is everyone's kind of getting on the thing. They're jumping on the bandwagon of saying how, you know, Disney is slow, the crowds are gone, no one's visiting Disney anymore. It's really Florida as a whole. It's not just Disney. It's Universal Studios is feeling it. SeaWorld's feeling it. Of course, Legoland, Busch Gardens, and they have their moments. It actually was busy a couple times this past weekend, probably a handful of times this past weekend. I heard it was a madhouse. At Epcot, I believe it was Friday. I believe Tiffany was performing at Epcot. I don't know if that's the reason why, but I just think a lot of people are just kind of like they're getting back into the vacations, but they're timing it a little differently than it was before. Obviously, with the pandemic, a lot of people just had a lot of free time because jobs will work from home. A lot of kids were homeschooled, which is a big trend now. I think that more people are finding other places to go. I've even heard that the cruise lines have seen a little bit of a dip in attendance as well. We are usually always checking for cruises anyway, and a lot of those cruises are still coming up. Like there are cruises that are coming out like sailing like within days, and there's still availability. So I think it's just tourism in general. It's taking a step back. I've been seeing one person that's basically streaming Halloween Horror Nights all the time, and again, crowd levels don't seem to be that bad. I still think that wait times are exaggerated. But like as you can hear now, I mean, I obviously can't see, but you know, I can hear that there's not a lot of activity here around the Haunted Mansion. We've already done one lap around the park. There wasn't that much activity around the park. We just went back up Main Street just a few minutes before we started the stream. And again, just the basic crowds that you would expect first thing in the morning.
Yeah, we're gonna go that direction.
Especially with this being a party night. I believe a lot of vloggers have also stated how it's very good to go on a party night. Go to the Magic Kingdom when the park closes early. You'll get everything you need done. Yeah, you missed the fireworks, but you know, don't look at it as a waste of a day. I mean, there's been time, like there was a couple times when back in the day when we would come here. I look forward to coming on party nights because I knew I could get on all the rides, be done by 1 or 2 o'clock, and just chill. It's never a wasted day when you get all your rides accomplished in the same day. Now, of course, I don't encourage everybody coming during a party day because, well, I like it slow, so I want to stay slow.
Excuse me, guys. I kept like looking over at
Wait, you're saying that it's 155 or 10?
¿Seguro que querés entrar a esto?
Oh, yeah?
Once again, good morning everyone from the Magic Kingdom. Sorry, I was going through some things on the iPad here, just to my side. Going to be parking here at the Haunted Mansion, one of my favorite spots, just for the background noises and hearing the crowd chatter as people are exiting the attraction. Obviously, this part of the park is going to go through a huge transformation here in the next few years. I don't know if there's a good visual of it at all, but the walls are up and around the entire Times Square Island, from what I understand. Still a large amount of construction to be done. I believe I overheard that they did take out the train tracks just over there as well. If you didn't know, the train is now running in a shuttle mode. So the train is still operational, but it is only running from Main Street, and then it runs backwards to Toontown, or I'm sorry, Circus. And then from Circus, it goes back to Main Street. So it does not make a full circle around the Magic Kingdom. That will probably be the way that it is for the foreseeable future, as they, like I said, they just took out the tracks around Frontierland to prepare for the large expansion of Pistol Peak, which is going to be themed towards cars, and of course the much anticipated Villains Land, which I do believe has a different name, but I've heard so many different rumors. I don't know what's the real name, what's the real name, or what's the fake name. I've also heard, again, like I said earlier, that there's a possibility that the Villains area will expand around the Haunted Mansion. I do know the backstage area behind the Haunted Mansion, so it is feasible, especially keeping it backstage. That will change the atmosphere for cast members, 100%. If it is going to go back as far as I think it is, I can imagine that it's going to be a whole new world for cast members who's been with the company for the past 10 years. overcast day. It's only supposed to be, I think I heard someone say it's a high of 85, 86 degrees today. I don't know how much truth that is to it. The weather is about 35% precipitation, but it's Florida, so 35% could be 100% somewhere, just not in all areas. Like I said, it is a party night, so the park will be closing at around 6. Or I should say I think the party starts at 6, so the park generally should be closing around 5, I think. It is different being back here and not hearing the riverboat as we were walking around the park earlier, not hearing the explosions from Big Thunder Mountain. We went through Fantasyland. Fantasyland obviously is very quiet because of the lack of crowds here. But yes, right now we're just taking in the area of the Haunted Mansion, one of my favorite places to just chill and sit around. I did enjoy working here many years ago. I wouldn't say my favorite attraction. Well, I mean, it was probably my second or third favorite attraction to work. Out of basically maybe 4 or 5 total. Surprising though, because I am a huge fan of the Haunted Mansion. I've always been a huge fan of the Haunted Mansion. But, I was actually warned when I got to Adventureland. I was warned by a coordinator. He told me that if you love the Haunted Mansion, don't work there. And I didn't believe him. Was so excited to work here. And I would say I liked the training. But once I got into the groove and doing it on my own, it wasn't that it wasn't fun. It's a lot of the I don't want to say the politics of it, but it's a lot of the by the book stuff that I just kind of like, this isn't for me. So far, we're having no interruptions from our equipment. Now watch that, now that I've said that, everything go haywire. For those of you who do not know, or for those of you who are ninja watching, there probably isn't going to be too much movement of the camera for these particular streams. I am a blind vlogger, so I basically like to sit around the park and just listen to everyone else have fun. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's coming in very clearly. I'm kind of sitting in front of a speaker, so you hear like the howling of the wind of the Haunted Mansion. There used to be a dog that howled. I don't know if that was just a nighttime effect, as we do not come to the park at night anymore. This is a little bit earlier than some of our previous streams. We typically do like to stream, I would say somewhere around 11 o'clock, but because we're at the Magic Kingdom early and we'll be taking a break pretty soon here. My wife does do 2 parks a day now with her pin trading. She loves this pin trading. It consumes us for the week. Basically looking for pins for the people too is a big thing now. But we might be going to Hollywood Studios later. I would like to stream there. I probably will not be bringing any equipment except for the phone and the gimbal. So the conversations will be one-sided. You'll probably have to hear me rambling. So I won't be able to address anything in the chats. But I do want to talk about some things. Because I remember, I didn't really respond to these in the last live stream because it was a lot going on towards the end there. But yeah, like, so someone had asked how long I was actually with the company before. And it has been an off and on struggle. I would say since 2013. A lot of it was medical reasons. I actually was released from the company back in 2018. It was a little bit of a back and forth battle because of how would you say, miscommunication. Because I was taking time off because of medical reasons, but I didn't have a doctor's excuse for every single date. It kind of made complications with the policies that they have, so I was let go for attendance technically. And then I was brought back in 2019, and then it wasn't a big concern. They worked for me as best they could with my disability, but there was just a lot of miscommunication again about what I can and cannot do. They were pretty good for the first few months. They were pretty good at just keeping me at Fantasmic because I worked the outdoor vending. As long as I can work with a team of people, I am good because there's something that anybody can really put me to do that doesn't really cause me to have to do the physical part. But there was a couple times where they were putting me in locations that I was not familiar with and I couldn't navigate by myself, or at least to the fullest anyways. There was a couple of devices that I couldn't operate, so that caused for me to go on medical leave again in 2019. And then, of course, the pandemic took place in 2020, and everybody was kind of shuffled around from there. I was brought back. I was actually officially let go from the company in 2020, and then they brought me back in 2021, and then that's when I went back on medical leave for the better part of about 3 years, which is odd because typically medical leave is you only have like a 12-month time frame before they have to do something with you. So somehow I slipped through the cracks for about 2 or 3 years. 2021 to about 2024. They tried one last ditch effort to put me at Pop Century, but that didn't work out, and then they let me. I basically filled out another application about 6 months later or so for a job that I knew I could do. I've actually been told I could do this job from other cast members. But they still put me in another spot that didn't work out. And that's where I've been for the past year as they try to figure out what they can do without listening to the things that I know I can. We know that there are several positions that don't require me to move, that don't require me to do much of anything except for maybe give directions, which is fine. That's exactly what I can do. But because, like I said earlier, because there's union rules and other things that might cause problems, they don't want to get into that. So. I also remember someone asked because there's a lot of lingo that I have to use to protect the integrity of the theme park, which I still firmly believe in. So there's a lot of things I can or I will not say. Because there was a couple questions I had that I had to ignore because they were really, how would I say, it would be too descriptive of backstage stuff. Now, of course, if Disney does let me go in the next month or so, I believe they have until I think November to find a place for me before they technically have to let me go again. I mean, I might go ahead and disclose some thoughts after that point. I enjoy working for the company. I enjoy being here with the company, but there are some parts of the company that I'm like, it was better about 10 years ago. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's been going on as of late. There's too many people that work here that just want the title of working for Disney without the real, the positive behavior of working for Disney. I don't think we won't be streaming tomorrow. Wednesday is going to basically be the off day. I want to get back into streaming on a consistent basis, but like I said, there's been a lot of things going on outside of the parks. My wife's been pin trading. I've had to kind of like be the mediator between other conversations with that. It was a pretty busy weekend for us, it seems, even though we really never do anything, but for some reason it just seemed busy. The weekend just kind of flew by. But if you're ever, like if you do ever get a notification or if you ever see a video that's just, it's kind of random, just forgive me on that one. I'm still kind of playing around with the YouTube app myself. Like I said, I did manage to do a couple of private live streams just to get a feel for what I can and cannot do. But there might be a couple of live streams that might have a weird picture to it. Until I could get an actual folder of pictures, I will probably have to take one of our administrators, Ride Tracks. He offered to do some artwork. I might have to take him up on that offer. And I also wanted to give a shout out to a few of the people that were chiming in. I believe it was one of our Epcot streams. They were chiming in because they were saying basically how they do listen. They're usually at work when they're listening, so shout out to those ninja listeners, I guess you could say. That's kind of why I try to keep the conversation fresh, because some people, believe it or not, are not here to listen to the rides. They just want to hear someone talk about Disney. I try to be as positive as I can because I still do enjoy coming here, but there are a lot of things that are like, it was better when it was this way. Plus, I would feel more comfortable in a home setting. That way I can really talk about whatever it is without worrying about distractions. Because, like I said, I'm blind, so I'm trying not to get in everybody's way. I'm also trying to make sure that I'm not talking about things too loudly. So forgive me if I'm not going to be answering any of the comments right now. I had to put the iPad away. It's kind of sitting out too long. It's a little bigger than I remember iPads being. So it can be a little bit of a distraction at the same time too. And I'm trying to keep it out of at least the direct sunlight. Because fortunately where I'm sitting, there's enough space for some shade. The sun isn't out too much, but I could definitely feel the little bit of sun that does come out hitting the iPad. So please forgive me if I don't answer anybody's comments right away. My wife's just doing another round of pin trading. Then we'll probably be heading out for a quick break before we go over to Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios is a little bit trickier to live stream at for the most part because of so much copywritten music in that area. But I will try to do the best I can. Like I said, I usually just like to sit around and just listen to the music, listen to the people chatter. Sometimes there's been a couple conversations I wish I was in earshot of. If anybody ever was tuning in to I did a countdown to extinction over there at Dinosaur because Dinosaur is closing. And I would say for about a good minute and a half, there was a guy over there just rambling on, swearing, curse words a lot of curse words in a span of 45 seconds, let me just say that.
This section here probably will be finished around end of 2027.
I did notice that they stopped a lot of that construction noise that I was hearing earlier. When we got into the park, you could definitely hear the machinery that is just tearing up, they're breaking up concrete. And if you didn't know, the Liberty Bell was on a track system. So on the rare occasions that you did get to see the water drain, you would see the track at the bottom, which I've heard that has completely been demolished as of now. So they're still breaking some concrete in that back area. Like I said earlier, they just started removing the train tracks that are back there, preparing for the overhaul. I believe that the construction is supposed to be done by 2029, I think they said. I don't exactly know when they're open, or if they're going to open everything up at once, or if they're going to do it in waves. I think that Pistol Peak is supposed to be the first one, and I believe that was 2028. Villains is supposedly 2029, possibly 2030, and then who knows what they're going to do after that. Of course, Monsters Inc. is supposed to be opening in a few years as well at studios. No word yet on exactly when Muppets will be taking over Aerosmith's Rock and Roller Coaster. So there's a lot of moving pieces. Of course, we know that Dinoland USA is pretty much gone for the most part. The only thing really left is the dinosaur attraction. I believe Restaurantosaurus is preparing, if they haven't already, they're preparing to move their menu options over to the Harambe Market in Africa. And I believe that the reimagining of Animal Kingdom is supposed to be done in about 2 years' time. So whether that means, I know all of next year is Dinosaur's closed. Dinosaur closes, I think it's February of next year. So again, if you want to ride Dinosaur one more time, you have the rest of this year, and I believe the better part of January before it actually closes down. I could be wrong on that. Double check with that, because it was a couple weeks ago I heard something about February, but I'm pretty sure they may be moving it up to January. And then that will probably be the last bit. There will probably be nothing accessible of Dinoland after that. So I could pretty much see them cutting off that entire wall, or putting you on that diverted where the parade path used to be. Probably put you over there. And that'll be that way for all of 2026. I'm very excited about that. Even though I do enjoy Dinoland, I did enjoy Dinosaur, but I am really looking forward to Indiana Jones. The main reason why I like Dinosaur so much is because it reminds me of Indiana Jones out there in Disneyland. So I'm very excited that we're actually getting a different version of the same ride. I'm not one of those people that think that all Disney parks should be different. I enjoy differences, but as far as rides go, I'm not going to be that big on, keeping one ride over here and one ride in a different park. Especially when all they really did was just bring the same system over and just change the scenery. If that's the argument, okay. But I would imagine though, like Animal Kingdom's getting their expansion, their remodel. Studios is getting their remodeling, especially now we just heard recently the launch bay is closing down. So they're going to be reimagining the old launch bay area over there by the Disney Junior Play Area. And of course we have our overhaul here at the Magic Kingdom, and I can only imagine they'll be circling right back around to Epcot in the 2030s for another reimagining over there. I've heard some rumors again of different pavilions, maybe a pavilion being added, and maybe an attraction being finished in a certain pavilion. And then of course there's the infamous pavilion that they announced and never finished, along with other additions that they never decided to do. Hollywood Studios also hinting at, again, another name change. This is something that they actually talked about back in 2000 and I think 15, 16. They talked about a name change, and then they brought it up again when they were introducing Toy Story Land and Batuu. I actually made a post several years ago waiting on that name change. It actually popped up on my memories from like 10 years ago. Also, I also heard that the Sorcerer's Hat is going to be returning to Hollywood Studios. I imagine where the launch bay sits right now. They're going to be bringing back some old school Hollywood Studios. I believe the drawing studio is going to be going back there again, which was a big thing throughout the 90s at Hollywood Studios, or MGM Studios as people call it. But yeah, they're supposed to be bringing back the Sorcerer's Hat, which was one of those things that people, they love to hate. I think it was just a bad positioning when the Sorcerer's Hat was sitting right in front of the Chinese Theater. I can't remember when they tore that down, but I actually thought they were going to put that in front of Hollywood Studios when they were redoing the front where they put the new security positions and everything like that. I thought they were going to put the Sorcerer's Hat out there because I really feel as if Hollywood Studios needs that iconic landmark. As much as I love the Tower of Terror, I don't think everyone's loving the Tower of Terror as a landmark, especially since they tore down the Eiffel Tower, which I'm still a little bitter about that. But yeah, like I said, I'm anxious about the new look of Disney, but then I'm also a little hesitant. I'm very hesitant on it because it's not the Disney I grew up going to. And I just don't want it to be like I don't want it to be that place like when my kids had kids. I don't want it to be a memory. Yeah. Oh, yeah. A few more minutes. What time is it? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up this stream right here. Might be on a little bit later, up in the air with that one because it is Hollywood Studios. Like I said, there's a lot of copyright music there. It's really hard to stream there. Keep your eyes out on any upcoming videos or streams because I might be doing some streams that don't have the camera on. It might be a default picture, who knows. Feel free to chat amongst each other while those streams are going on. I'll probably be trying to carry on the conversation as best I can. And then bear with us as we are getting back into the groove, or as I'm getting back into the groove of streaming on a weekly basis as much as I can. And with that being said, we will see you next time on Diz Time.